think they have the data or they have the information or they have the right idea, and they don't spend as much time crafting the story or communicating.
I think you're right. I think you're right, Mark. And it's something I've observed in my area with my colleagues that are specialists and practitioners. They're all amazing. Seriously, they really are. And I just love working with them and I love listening to them and everything. But and I wonder whether it's an archetype as well. Very humble. The profile is very humble. And I think one of the things you have to learn is, especially if you're in a business setting and you're working in an enterprise, you have to learn how to sell yourself a little bit, and be able to tell the story, even if it's a small win, even if it's a very small thing that has happened, that's a good thing. You have to be able to find a way to talk about that, because I think in sort of these big corporate enterprises, the more senior people are in the leadership ladder, it is sometimes a little bit short term in terms of the thinking. So even those short term wins might seem silly to brag about, but actually that's not, because that's how people measure, okay, we're making progress, we're going the right way. I understand that things are moving in the way I thought it was going to move, and I think that's a skill that any sort of designer inside a corporate should think about.
And learn the value of some of the sayings you hear from your senior people when you have to have those discussions. Yes, and no, but. I mean, it sounds cheesy and corny, but it works. And it's a way to sometimes go to your partners if you're working, ahead. If you've got your data, say yes, and this will work because of this also. Listen, I got a concern, but maybe we could talk about this, but I feel like getting out ahead of those things is crucial, but yeah.
It's great. Just a reminder, if anybody has any questions, feel free to post them in the comments. I have one more, which is future state for you folks. What does a mature data-informed organization look like from where you're sitting in the organization? And I know maybe everyone's worked in different organizations with different levels of maturity. I know Liselle, you're very early in the journey, but you probably have a vision out there. But what does that vision look like for folks? And what does it enable teams to do?
In my opinion, everyone is empowered with access to the data. I've worked at companies in the past where designers, engineers, even product people at times did not have access to the data, didn't have access to customers. And so they really kind of had to rely on gut instinct. So if everyone's empowered to have access to that data, I think that's important. I think that leadership should regularly challenge people to bring data to the conversation about their product decisions and describe how that data supports their decision. If leadership is doing it, there's going to be more buy-in and more space made to do that kind of work. And then measurable goals should be set before something launches, and ideally revisited after the launch to ensure that those goals are met. If not, the data leveraged, that data should be used to determine what next steps are if those goals aren't met. In my opinion, that's what maturity looks like.
That's great. Thanks.